Hey, everybody, welcome to the Jimmy Dore Show. I'm here with Steph Zamorano, the Miserable Liberal, and Ron Placone.
Hi, Jimmy.
Howdy, howdy.
Hey, so we tried to... The Russiagate investigation, all we did here at this show, and a handful of other shows did the same thing, was say, hey, we're waiting for evidence that this happened, because right now it looks like a massive propaganda campaign to shield the Clintons and the Clinton campaign and the Democratic Party from doing an autopsy and legit criticism on how horrible and how screwed up their party is that they could lose to Donald Trump. And we had William Binney come on, who was the NSA top code breaker, and he said that he immediately knew they had no evidence when the NSA said they had high confidence, which means they don't have evidence. And he said if it did happen, they would have the evidence, the NSA, because they have everything that's happening at any moment. Every email that is being sent to anybody anywhere, they have it. We live in a surveillance state. That's why they have it. So we showed you that. We brought on John Kiriakou, former CIA guy, telling you that they don't have it, and this is all propaganda. And then here we even showed you, this is from a year ago, former CIA Director Mike Murrow. Inside this article, he said, I'm really open to that possibility. Why? Because, as you know, the New York Times, the Washington Post, every media outlet that is worth its salt has reporters digging into this, the Russiagate, and they haven't found anything. That's former CIA director. And I think that had there been something there, they would have found something. And I think Bob Mueller would have found it already, and it would have leaked. That's a year ago. That's from 2017, October 2017. That's the former CIA director saying that. We reported it here. That wasn't the headline, obviously, of they buried that part. That's not, the headline was, elections hacking was an intelligence failure. That wasn't the headline. It should have been. So we've tried to tell you, William Binney, NSA codebreaker, tried to tell you, John Kiriakou, there's former head of the CIA. He's telling you there's going to be no evidence. And now, here's Politico just a few weeks ago. The Mueller report, prepare for disappointment and be forewarned that the special counsel's findings may never be made public. So they're bracing people. There's no there there. So now we got Bill Binney. We got former head of the CIA, and we got Politico, and now we got Bob Woodward. Now we got Bob Woodward coming around to our side. Our side meaning the one that just asks for evidence of extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence, right?
And we maintain our skepticism because we have done some questionable things, like read an article till its completion.
Yeah.
And actually look at what a graph is telling us.
Yes. And we've been pilloried for this. We've been pilloried for reading the articles all the way to the end. Like I read that Political article all the way to the end where the CIA director says that there ain't going to be any evidence. If you read it all the way to the end, you'll find that out. But if you read the headline, which is what most people do, you would never know that.
It's an odd approach, but we're all students of Mort Saul and we're comics. What can we do?
What can we do? It is unorthodox that we read the articles all the way to the end. So here's Bob Woodward. No evidence of Trump-Russia collusion, and I've searched for 2 years. This is from Real Clear Politics. In an interview with Hugh Hewitt on Friday, Hugh Hewitt is that guy who, I think he has a show on MSNBC, but he has a radio show too, and everybody thought he was the cat's meow. In an interview with Hugh Hewitt on Friday, Bob Woodward said that in his 2 years of investigating for his new book, Fear, he found no evidence of collusion or espionage between Trump and Russia. What? Woodward said he looked into it hard. It's in red. That's how you know it's important.
Oh.
He looked into it hard and yet turned up nothing. Do you want to hear him say it? Here, let's hear it. Want to hear him say it? We can hear him say it.
Did you, Bob Woodward, hear anything in your research and your interviews that sounded like espionage or collusion?
I did not, and of course I looked for it hard, and
Huh? What? So Russiagate came in like a lion, and it's going out like a sheep. It's going out like a little lamb. Very quiet. Came in like a lion. Rah! We got him! It's right in front of your eyes! Can't you see it? What are you, an apologist? Jimmy, can't you see it? Jimmy! So I can't wait for the next person to say the same thing. Because as we pointed out, and by the way, it's printed in the book Shattered, which is the book written about the Hillary Clinton campaign, the 2016 campaign. It's right in that book that Robbie Mook and John Podesta came up with this idea. Robbie Mook and John Podesta. And I showed you that Hillary Clinton's own internal polling in her campaign in 2015 said that Hillary Clinton's biggest vulnerability was that people wouldn't vote for her when they found out she sold that uranium. She signed off on selling the uranium to Russia. Uranium One, that whole thing. So that was her own internal polling showed that her biggest vulnerability was her connection to Russia. What does Machiavelli teach us? You take your business vulnerability, you throw it on your opponent. And that's exactly what they did. So, again, it's all out there. If you want to find that the truth is out there, it's written and Shattered. It's in WikiLeaks documents that I've showed on this show. I've seen nowhere else. The WikiLeaks document that showed her biggest vulnerability was her ties to Russia. Hillary's biggest vulnerability was her ties to Russia. I've never seen that document anywhere else. Have you seen that document? Nowhere except our show. So it's all out there. They just don't hype it. What do they hype? Oh, my God, we got him this time. We got him. Oh, that's right. We're going to have to fire a few people for getting that story wrong. And that's the story of Russiagate. And that's how now you live through a Red Scare. Now you know what propaganda looks like. And it was really easy to do because everybody hated Donald Trump. He was very unlikable to the establishment, to the news media. Half the country seems to love him. But not the news media, not the establishment. So it was really easy to do. So what are you going to do? Stick up for Trump that he's not Russian? I'll play this for you again. This is Bob Woodward.
Did you, Bob Woodward, hear anything in your research and your interviews that sounded like espionage or collusion?
I did not, and of course I looked for it hard.
I don't even know what to say. None. In a normal world, we would be getting a lot of accolades and apologies at this show. We will get none of those things. We will get none of those things. So this conspiracy theory that's been spun by the establishment news, by internet news, non-establishment news, lefty press, is a big conspiracy theory, which is evident, no evidence. For 2 years, they talked about it nonstop. Imagine if they talked about Medicare for all for 2 years. Do you think they would have did a little better in the midterms? I think so. This is stunning, no? Bob Woodward is saying this now. But by the way, it's barely getting any press.
Right.
And where is he saying it? He's saying it on Hugh Hewitt's fucking show. Shouldn't this be the headline on Rachel Maddow's show tonight? Because here's how the conspiracy theorists over at MSNBC have been reporting this for 2 years, and I bet they're going to be a little embarrassed now, right?
And here's the question. Is the new president going to take those troops out? In Russia, Russia, of whether or not Russia had help, whether they had Confederates inside the Trump campaign when they launched this attack. But every day I'd leave my show and I think I'm going to be talking about something else. But every day over the course of the news cycle,
Every day I just decide to keep fucking talking about the same thing over and over and over and over again with zero evidence, but I spin wild conspiracy theories, but nobody ever calls me a conspiracy theorist because I'm on MSNBC. And it's about Trump.
a new piece of it falls in place. We're about to find out if the new president of our country is going to do what Russia wants. If the presidency is effectively a Russian op, right? If the American presidency right now is the product of collusion between the Russian intelligence services and an American campaign, I mean, that is so profoundly big. This is not part of American politics. This is not, partisan warfare between Republicans and Democrats. This is international warfare against our country.
That was from The Intercept. A C student, Jagoff nightclub comedian in his garage somehow got to this 2 years before Bob Woodward did. And that guy's got nothing but access. But for 2 years, it was also, it also sold papers if you spun that you had collusion and you had evidence, right? But now we'll sell it the other way. God damn it. And you wonder why people don't trust the press? And what's happening right now is everyone's pretending that CNN is only disliked by Trump and the right wing. CNN is disliked by the left, the actual left, not the fucking corporatist bullshit Democrat left. I'm talking about actual lefts. I'm talking about when Bernie Sanders rallies, people were chanting, CNN sucks. That's real progressives. Our next live Jimmy Dore show is February 1st in Burbank, California. Go to jimmydorecomedy.com for a list of all our live shows, and please become a premium member if you can. Become a patron. It's the way we support this show because they're coming at us, and we give you bonus. We give you hours of bonus material every week. Check it out. Become a patron. And if you can, make sure you're still subscribed. They unsubscribe people every day. I know it sounds crazy. It only takes a second. Please make sure and click that bell when you subscribe so they'll send you a notice when we drop a video. Thanks for your support.